Michael Lee's back here with you on SportsCenter. A little revisit of what we saw between the Cavs and the Magic. Game 7, Donovan Mitchell, as expected, had to carry the load for his squad, but early on, it was a struggle. Little pull-up, miss. And then the drive on Jalen Suggs, miss. Also missed the putback. He had 15 points in the first half, but he was 3 of 13 from the field, 1 of 7 with Jalen Suggs as the primary defender, 2 for 11 off the dribble. But in the second half, he became Spider, unbothered and unfazed by what happened in that first half. Here posting up Suggs and 1. 15 points in the first half. He had 17 in the third quarter alone, and his squad was up 76-68 going through the fourth. And in the final frame, more Spider. How about that pull up from deep? Come on. His squad was up 9. And then when he gets going downhill, it's in trouble because if he doesn't score, he can dish to Darius Garland in the corner. 39-9 for Mitchell, and the Cavs win Game 7.
We are capable of anything when we do it together. We got enough talent in the room, right? Let's get our minds right. Let's go to Boston, go get us something.
Hey, this is great, but we're too talented to be satisfied with just this. I'm just being honest. This is great. This is a great win. We got the monkey off our back, whatever you want to say. But, we ain't come here to just win in 7. We ain't come here for just this one series. Come on.
Then all 3 meetings were, as Boston has been, all 3 regular season meetings were decided by less than 10 points. Now, Boston won the first 2 against the Cavs. Jason Tatum had a double-double and a season-high 3 blocks in that second game. Cleveland, though, turned the tables in that last one. They were down 22 with 9 minutes to go, and they came back and won. NBA Countdown crew, what y'all say?
So certainly congratulations to the Cleveland Cavaliers, but now you get to face the Boston Celtics. Stephen A., Michael Wilbon, I'm Malika Andrews. Let's break this down a little bit. We heard Cavaliers fans chanting, "We want Boston." I'm not sure they do. How do you make this a series,
they were lying. Donovan Mitchell has to be a superstar in this series, and props to him for the way he played in Game 7. Obviously struggled in the first half, came real strong, 17 points in the third quarter, and really showed up and showed out and sparked Cleveland to victory, along with their defense, because Orlando couldn't hit a shot. That's not going to be the problem with the Boston Celtics. They're the number 1 offense in basketball, number 2 in defensive rating. These brothers are the real deal. They don't play, and even without Porzingis, they were about 22-4 this year. And so you look at it from that standpoint, the size, the athleticism, the defensive prowess, not 1 but 2 stars. One's a superstar in Jason Tatum, 2 superstars as far as I'm concerned, him and Jaylen Brown. Let me tell you something right now. It ain't going to be a problem for them to score. So Cleveland is going to really be in for a load of their work. I'd be shocked if they won more than 1 game.
Well, they're going to need the kind of performance Evan Mobley gave them. 16 rebounds and 5 block shots.
Yeah.
Particularly, we don't know what the Porzingis situation is right away, so that could be a slight advantage for a while in Cleveland's favor. But they're going to have the kind of effort they got in the second half, not in the first, when they were down 18 points to Orlando and had to make that up.
Just keep in mind, Orlando can't shoot. Boston can.
Right.
And that's the difference. Boston doesn't need to go inside and try to attack Mobley. There are various ways for them to score.
So that series kicks off on Tuesday. We don't have to wait that long, though, Stephen A., for your New York Knicks to be in action against the Pacers. Temperature check from you, sir.
I'm concerned about the Pacers. I've got the Knicks winning this series, but I know enough about the Pacers to respect them. They were the leading offense in the game. These brothers are the only team in the league to shoot 50% or better in the entire league. They can score, and the New York Knicks struggle to score at times. But the toughness, the grit, the defensive tenacity, the experience, I just think that I'm going to go with the Knicks in this particular situation. Home court advantage as well helps. That's why I'm going with them as well.
Some of the predictions on this series, Tim. I want to see the series unfold from a stylistic standpoint, Malika. Tom Thibodeau, they want to throw body blows. They want to have a slogging, wrestling series that plays to the Knicks' physical advantages. And the Pacers want to race up and down the court.
Yes.
They don't just want to, they need to. They need to stay away from those body blows that the Knicks want to meet out. And the point guard matchup is pretty irresistible, isn't it? 2 young, dynamic lead guards in this series, Halliburton and Jalen Brunson. Can't wait to see that as well.
Brunson's averaged 35 against them in 3 games this year.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that continues. control pace. Do not run with the Indiana Pacers. That is a bad thing for the New York Knicks to do. Other than that, I'm not concerned.
And it doesn't feel like we've seen Tyrese Halliburton's best shot in these playoffs yet, so I look forward to seeing if we get that in the second round. What I can't decide is if Stephen A is just trying to temper expectations or if he genuinely has this nervous.
He needs to be genuinely concerned. Yes.
They,
a little bit of
they
both.
got my respect.
Formidable.
I'm genuinely concerned. They're formidable.
Especially,
but the Knicks should win.
They should have that. They should have that respect, certainly. All right, the second round gets underway. Can't wait to see it.
Well, the West semis have already tipped. Minnesota went into the Mile High City Saturday and took game one from the champs. Anthony Edwards scored 25 points in the first half, en route to a franchise record 43, a record he set last year against the Nuggets. Michael Malone says Denver can't let Minnesota strike first in game two.
We have to do a better job, and our starters in particular, Sam, have to do a better job of being ready to play and setting the tone early. What are we waiting for? Like, we all know that going back to Minnesota down 0-2 is not the ideal situation. Now, if we come out the same way, lackadaisical, not physical, not urgent, well, then there's an issue there. You know, a deeper lying issue than just stopping Anthony Edwards. You know, where is that mental at? And I fully expect.
Okay, there's nothing been that powerful. Big guys don't run the floor. And then, you know, and before him, it's Michael, the greatest player of all time with great flair. Kobe was never really the face of the league, but was like Michael Light. Then you go into LeBron, arguably the greatest player, the great Swiss Army knife that does everything differently. So all those players were like, to some degree, a little bit of unicorns athletically, or they had a dimension to their game. They still show Dr. J's dunk against Michael Cooper. It's still the greatest dunk in league history. In a game, it's the 70s. It's 50 years ago with all these athletes. So with Ants, I've watched Jason Tatum live 3 times. I've watched him 100 times. He's very good. It's not historically unique looking. He's just really clever and really smooth, good two-way player. Ant does stuff, and you're like, okay, it's time to put the drink down. Let's, I got to watch the replay on that. Like, even NBA guys are like, whoa. You see him come off the bench. So Wemby has some of that. Wemby could block 8 blocks a game. You know, I mean, he could have a stretch. Like, nobody looks like that. So I do think Ant's advantage is there's a lot of wow stuff. I mean, I remember when Shaq came in the league. Jerry Tarkanian, I covered him at UNLV. He told me when Shaq was a sophomore, I was at a place called the late Jerry Tarkanian. I covered him in Vegas at a place called Sharks or Tarks or Sharks. And we were sitting at a bar, me and a guy named John Henderson, a retired sports writer now in Italy. And he said, there's a kid named Shaquille O'Neal at LSU. And he goes, I know you've seen highlights. He's going to be the greatest basketball player you've ever seen when he plays. And, you know, Jerry was a very good recruiter. And, you know, and he just said, there's never been anything like him. And that's kind of the sentence for the faces of the league. There's never been anything like him. And my take is he's a little Dominique, a little Michael. I mean, what's his comp? It feels like the right comps.
He's bigger and stronger than the other 2 guards that came before him, too. Like, he's got a little bit of like the downhill force that you saw from Dwayne Wade, but he's bigger and a better shooter, right? He's got he's got some of the like the footwork stuff from the mid to high post. But again, like he's got like a strength and a power element to his game that even MJ and Kobe didn't have. So like in a weird way, this is the beautiful thing about basketball history is every player. It's very rare to have a guy like Kobe who's like almost the spitting image of the guy he was trying to be like, right? Like Kobe and MJ were so similar. Ant's kind of got his own unique flair on it. It's like Dwayne Wade meets better jump shooting meets the body of a middle linebacker in the NFL. Like it's hard to describe, but like and then again, the big piece of it is like this guy's going to Kevin Durant and he's like, yeah, you're my favorite player, but you know, I'm busting your ass, right? Like it's like this weird like shit talking mixed with respectful, mixed with like incredible aggression, but he's also just got this huge personality, and that to me is a big part of the marketability element where like I could see him being a superstar in the league for decades.
You know, I was thinking about this flying in. I hung out in Park City with my wife this weekend and the dogs, and it snowed again, by the way, as I was driving to the airport, a snowstorm. It's like May 5th. So, you know, I was thinking about this, that, you know, there's been a lot of instances in my life where a team makes a run Sacramento was like this during the Kobe years, where they make a run, they get really close, and you think to yourself, oh, this could be like an 8-year run. And then like they have a really bad loss in the playoffs and they're never the same. I mean, Sacramento, like the beam. I mean, we all felt like this is the beginning of something big. Lose to the Warriors. It just didn't feel the same this year. These young teams, Oklahoma City, Minnesota, just jumped over them. Indiana jumped over them. And so, it's interesting when I look at the Knicks. You can make the argument, hey, they're going to move Randall. They're going to get somebody in here. It's going to be great. But to get somebody in, they're going to have to get rid of a few Josh Harts. You got to be very delicate. This is a Tibbs team.